Tsi pour accompagner les sauts des Allemands. Tiens, Tsi, c'est le nom d'un nouveau podcast.
Et même le podcast francophone de saut à ski et combiné nordique. Chaque semaine, retrouvez résultats, analyses, statistiques et même des interviews passionnantes dans Ziiiiiiiiiieh.
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue dans ce nouvel épisode de Tsi, le 34e, et on fait un nouvel épisode spécial. Nous avons un invité en Pologne, un insider du monde du saut à ski, c'est Michal CHMIELEWSKI, qui va nous parler un peu comme on a fait avec Louis pour l'Allemagne il y a quelques jours, de lui, de son investissement dans le saut à ski et du saut à ski de façon générale en Pologne. On commence tout de suite, on passe à l'anglais de nouveau évidemment, et c'est parti. Hi Michal, how are you?
Hi, bonjour. I'm fine and ready for an interesting talk about ski jumping. Also, to be honest, I'm probably even that much interested in on your side or on your perspective of ski jumping in France that you are interested in the Polish side. So it's quite funny and quite nice to have this talk today.
And thank you for giving us time because you're a busy man and you're inside the world of ski jumping in so many different ways. I don't know where to start, so the easy first question is, who are you?
Okay, so I am reporting for the national television in Poland. It's called TVP Sport. Last 2 years I spent in this television already, where I do commentating and also writing, also reporting for television during the broadcasts. For instance, from the last Winter Olympics in Beijing. Before the 5 years I spent in Przegląd Sportowy newspaper, which is something like the biggest one newspaper about sports in Poland. We can compare it to L'Équipe, for example, in France, but obviously it's a bit smaller. But in the beginning, or the most important fact about me is that I just love ski jumping.
And how long are you a big fan of ski jumping before working in this topic when you were a kid or later?
It couldn't be a big surprise because my story or my journey started when I was 8 years old. If I counted properly, it was 2001 when this huge Malyszmania started in Poland. As a kid, I had a really perfect condition for following someone big in sports. This was the moment for me when I was realizing what is actually sport for the people, for the country. What is the role of an idol in sports to young kids in their journey to the adult period. So I think I could never found any other solution for me which may be better. Okay, there are so many superstars in sports, but Adam was special in Poland. We can talk about it for hours. How strongly did he affect the world of Polish sports, and also the generation. We are now 30 years old, my generation, and we are still talking between us while using some sentences from the commentators from the past about Adam's jumps during that were spoken during his jumps. I can easily remind myself some stories. We are using memes still about Małysz, about Apoloniusz Steiner, who was his coach in these days. So talking about Malyszmania and the affection, how did it affect the whole Poland? It's almost impossible to explain in terms we are talking about such a small discipline worldwide. But in Poland, it got huge. It got huge.
Released a movie that you made by yourself called in English Sons of Adam Małysz.
Children of Adam Malysz. Yeah.
Children of Adam Malysz, which means a lot for Polish people. You are all children of Adam Malysz.
You know, I can describe or introduce myself as a kid of Adam Malysz, but I'm pretty sure I won't be wrong if I say that we are all children of Adam Malysz some way, because you know it has some topics included in this sentence. On one hand, we were all watching ski jumping, even while didn't understand it too much yet. We were all watching this on weekends. There was it's a common story for the whole country that we are visiting our grandparents, having a lunch, and on the television there was Adam's competition somewhere. We all knew in Poland where is Kusamo situated, where is Courchevel, where is Hinterzaten, or some other towns. We were all knew what does telemark mean, and the same way we didn't know where telemark is situated and why is it called telemark. But this is the one aspect of that. Another aspect which I tried to show to the public by this film is that as a kid, I wanted to be also like Adam Malysz. Of course, I had no chance to wear a mustache these days because I was 8 or 10 years old these days. But we were all trying in Poland to build small hills, to try to follow our great star. We were jumping in almost every town, every village in Poland. We were trying to design our own BIBs. I mean the numbers
Yes.
athletes are wearing during the competitions. And this was my story. You know, this is how I felt in love to ski jumping for the first time. So much later, I realized that I was not the only one in Poland. That there are hundreds of people doing the same. In the beginning of new era, the zeros, yeah.
To tell our listener your movie, I will publish the link with the episode of the podcast. Is so nice. It's something that we have never seen in another movie. Most of the ski jumping movies are with the big stars, the rising stars, and the large hills. And your movie is about the K15 in a garden, the K30, 38
Exactly.
in the forest, and that's an association that is designing and preparing everything. And this part of the movie, plus your images with the drone and so on, which are so beautiful. This movie is unique, and that's why I wanted to talk with you today, because your movie deserves to be seen by everybody who loves ski jumping, and not only the FIS World Cup in the weekend. And in a part of your movie, so it's the world of amateur ski jumping, and you were jumping. You were not only a movie maker. Can you tell us about your experience? You start adult from 0 meter, and you finish.
It was actually not the 0 meter. My personal best was a bit longer when I started this producing this film.
Okay.
As I have mentioned before, my first steps in ski jumping were when I was really small, 8 years old, and this was the personal best 11.5 meters. I remember that jump. it was really icy in run, so it gave me the proper speed to jump that far. We built the hill on our own. We made the competition in our small town. And later, when I was 21, I realized, okay, let's maybe try to wear the ski jumping suit. Also, use the skis, specific skis for ski jumping for the first time. And I have just called one of the clubs and asked for the possibility, for the chance. So they said, okay, come on, let us have you here on the training. And then I jumped around 11 meters as well in Bystra, which is situated close to Bielsko-Biała in Poland. It's a small ski jumping facility, but ready for beginners and extremely well fitted for beginners. And this was the end, actually. And I was not a journalist yet these days. It was 2014 in the summer. But in this period, I also started practicing journalism. So when time ran up, I realized, okay, maybe we can repeat this, but in the large scale. So I moved back once again to Bystra, to the same facility with the same suit, and tried it once again. But already knew that, okay, I really want to do something big with that project. First of all, I had an idea to make a serial. I don't know if it's in English. I'm sorry, serial.
Yes,
It's probably it's a
different episodes.
Yeah, I wanted to cut it
Okay.
to the episodes and send it to my television to make it to make a story that's from zero to hero or something like that. But later I realized, okay, let's do the full-time movie, which is finally more than 40 meters long. And the main idea, there were two of them. The first one was to show people that ski jumping can be as football as well. That you go outside and if you want to go to the pitch and score goals, okay, you can do so. But the same way, I wanted to prove it. You can go to the ski jumping hill and jump, because it's not meant that it has to be more than 100 meters. It can be even 10 meters. So this was the first thing, and the second thing, the core scenario was to beat a Belgian ski jumping record, which is 36 meters. I had 1 meter shorter.
You spoil your movie, but it's a nice journey to follow you. And I was in front of my TV, and my mind was blowing to see, as you say, people doing also adult people doing ski jumping as you are going to the football pitch. Okay, they are 25 or 30 years old, and they take the skis, the suit, and they go to the 25 or the smaller one, which is 8.5 meter long, the wooden one, which is not in the mountain.
Yes, it's actually not. It's actually steel one. You mean Ruczynów?
Probably, which is close to the wild, and you have a competition with adult jumping 7 to 8, 9 meters, and everybody is smiling, having a great time, and that's the main difference with France. In France, you don't have this kind of ski jumping. You are in a club, young, for most of the people, and if you stop ski jumping at a year of 16 years old because you don't want to do anymore in competition or it's too difficult with your school, you stop ski jumping forever, or you go sometimes at the hill but you don't have amateur ski jumping. It's a new world which opened for me. So I will never jump again. I broke my legs 3 months ago with a 2 or 3 meter long jump. So for me, it's over forever. But it's so nice in your film to follow the people just having fun jumping 20 or 30 meter long, which is already risky. And
Let me tell you something. In this film, of course, I didn't had a chance to include every kind of story that happened in the amateur ski jumping in Poland in the past 20 years. But I can remind myself a person who was starting as all of us on the amateur hill built by himself, and it was in Juszczyna, probably not in Juszczyna, somewhere else. I'm sorry, for Jawornik. It was Jawornik, a really small village close to Zakopane. It was 20 or 25 meters long, the outrun, and in the end, he was able to jump from Wielka Krokiv in Zakopane, and it was a jump on the length more than 100 meters. And he was a completely amateur. He didn't ever try to practice in the club on a professional way as a professional athlete. He was just an amateur, which was actually ready to work hard on his own. So this is also a brilliant story to tell the people. But truly, Poland, of course, has a tradition of ski jumping, probably bigger than in France. But we are not the only country that knows amateur ski jumping. Many competitions like this are scheduled in Slovenia each season. Also in Germany, in Norway, there are some types of competition like only for amateurs. But the origins of my video, the idea to make something bigger was a video, a reportage from Al Jazeera. You can find it on YouTube. There was a story from Al Jazeera Balkans, if I remember, and it was the footage of ski jumping made by amateurs for amateurs in Bosnia, and this is also quite nice. That even smaller countries has a will, a lust to do something, not to only observe it or watch it on the television, but to try on their own. This is really, really beautiful.
It's so nice, and I don't spoil the movie, but at one moment you are at the top of the in run of a 70-meter long slope. So can you just tell me the name of the place where the hill is? I don't want to try.
This is the place is called Styrk. It's really hard to pronounce it by foreigners. I know it.
Because the World Cup will go in Styrk, so it's nice we have your good pronunciation. And what was your feeling? So since you are a kid, you are a ski jumping fan. You watched thousands and thousands of jumps, and you were at the top of a nice 70-meter long slope. What was your feeling at the top of the in-run?
Oh, this is big. Of course, as a journalist, I have visited hundreds of ski jumping hills in my life. I mean, really hundreds, because my number of that is above 600 right now. So I have been climbing on them. I have visited all the flying hills, and they are really huge. But it's a different climb when you realize you are just watching this as a tourist, and a different climb where you realize the chance or the possibility to jump from it, to get the speed, to the need for a takeoff, that you see the place where you are going to fall, probably. So this makes it dangerous in your mind, because if you are just visiting this place, you say, okay, they are jumping from it, it's fine. But when you have to jump, it's a completely different story.
I jumped on a 10-meter hill like 18 years ago, and in my mind it was so long and so amazing jump. And my brother took a video and just a guy which is in the air for half a second.
But you know,
But
Romeo,
from the inside, it's amazing.
this is exactly what I wanted to say. We are organizing this competition for amateurs in Ruczynów. And this season, it's scheduled for 17th of June this year, so it's next week. And on the start list, we have 90, even a bit less than 90 people. So we have 90 amateurs in Poland that are ready to drive, I don't know, 300 kilometers just to practice or to compete on the K7.
It's nice.
And they say every year they are saying that, okay, I don't care, it's a bit smaller. I mean, a bit. It's way smaller than the professional hill for senior ski jumpers taking part in the World Cup. But for them, it doesn't really matter. They wanted to try how to be a ski jumper, and they had this chance. And it's enough for them. Maybe they will one day go to the larger hill and to try with a professional coach. Maybe not. But they had this experience already. And this is one of the most beautiful pictures for me every year, that the people are just having fun practicing ski jumping. That we are proving in Ruczynów that this discipline is not only for thin people from the mountains. It can be also for the people from lowlands, for younger, for elder, for everybody, for almost everybody.
It's really amazing. And this hill is in the movie. So people who you listen to us, please watch the movie. You will enjoy the true passion of ski jumping.
Be my guest.
I want to make a short break in our discussion and let you tell us about the Polish language.
Okay.
Which most of them, for most of us, is difficult to pronounce. And I will try to say some first names. So first of all, if I say bad the first name, you correct me, and you say to me the family name, which are the people of the national team.
Je parle vos polonaise, so we can start.
So because we will try to improve when we talk in the podcast, and for most of them, we always try to do a good way to pronounce, but we are never sure. So I will comment. I will start easy with Camille.
Stock.
So stock.
Not stock. Not stock, because it's a stock is one of the types of vodka in Poland.
Okay.
it's stock.
Okay. With Piotr.
Żyła.
Can you repeat for everybody?
Żyła. Piotr Żyła.
Żyła. Which is not a U, it's like a Żyła. Okay.
Żyła.
David.
Kubacki.
It is David.
Yeah, it is David Kubacki.
David. Pavel.
Wąsek.
So the worst one for me is Alexander.
Zniszczą.
Not so. Okay, it's possible.
It's like we call it. You can translate it into English, so it's Alexander the Destroyer, because
yes, Twitter translation. I use it because I follow a lot of Polish contributors, and so and it's always the Destroyer. Machikot is the cat.
Yes, exactly.
And it's Maciej.
Maciej, yeah, okay. Correct.
Kasper or the Kasper?
Juroszek.
Or the Tomasiak, the new one.
Kacper Tomasiak.
Okay. And for the women, we have Nicole.
Konderla.
Okay. And Kinga.
Rajda. Which is actually retired.
Yes. And for the places, so the ski jumping hill, you already told me.
Deszczyrk.
Okay. The first one in the season was the season what? Wisla?
Wisła.
Wisła. So when you have okay, you have the L and you have the L with the small sign in the L.
Exactly. And it's W, not
okay.
L then anymore, but it's W.
So come as in Joua, okay, Wisła. Okay.
Exactly.
And the most famous is Zakopane.
Which is actually the same for English and for Polish language and for any others.
Which is easy.
Exactly.
And okay, so I will listen it several times to remind me, and I hope that for our listener, it's a good introduction into the Polish language.
We have still so much time until the next winter, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna do it correct. I was listening to your podcast with Louis Holuch, and I expected that challenge for me as well.
But it was more challenging in Polish. Let's talk about the ski jumping in Poland, but you already introduced it. But my question is, what was the ski jumping in Poland before Adam Małysz? Zakopane was already built. Was it you have a national team, so it was already an important sport. But was it in the biggest sport before Adam Małysz?
It's really difficult to say what was the major sport in Poland. Maybe it's not surprising that the football was that kind of sport, but you should know that in Eastern Europe or in Central Europe, where we actually live in, after 1989 was everything changed. The communism collapsed, so the whole system has changed, and it was really, really good for the people, but for the sport in the beginning of this new era, it was not. Many clubs were destroyed. Many ski jumps, if we talk about ski jumping, were abandoned and haven't been used for any longer. So this was a really tough period for the sports to be organized in new era of the free market with the sponsors instead of national government or something like that. So it touched many disciplines, also touched ski jumping. We had an Olympic gold medalist in 1972, Wojciech Fortuna in Sapporo. We had medals in the World Champs even before the Second World War. We had many experienced, many well-known jumpers in this period shortly after the Second World War, up to Piotr Fias, who stood the longest jump ever with the classical style in Planica. It was 1987, and this world record was I don't know how to say it, was unbeaten for seven years.
Okay.
Until the V style was discovered.
Okay.
So as you can see, that the tradition were huge, but then since the communism fell, there were no money for this. Many jumping hills were destroyed or almost destroyed. In Wisla, there was a K105 ski jumping hill, but the problem was that the road was crossing the outrun. So even there were plans to organize the Continental Cup. The jumpers come to Wisla. Among them was Stefan Hongaher, and he said, okay, I won't jump on it. I won't jump. You have to jump once again on the outrun, which is dangerous, and I won't jump on it. It shouldn't be a Continental Cup. So there were no lifts, there were no equipment, there were no money for the camps, for suits, even Adam Małysz in his first great season, I mean this 2001, had way worse suit than his rivals. So Robert Mateja, very famous jumper in Poland, told to the media many years later that if he had an equipment comparable to the others, to Austrians, to Norwegians, he would win 80 competition instead of 39. And it probably is something in it, because Malyszmania has started everything. Before that, we had maybe less than 100 jumpers in the whole country, and right now we have 5 times more. We have beautiful small facilities to start your journey. We have 3 hills in the World Cup next winter season. So it has all changed, but the beginnings were tough. Were absolutely tough.
And another question is the ski jumping popular everywhere in the country? If we watch the map of Poland, the mountain has the south, and most of the country is flatlands, and you have the Baltic coast. Are people in Warsaw, the capital, or close to the Baltic Sea, fan of ski jumping, or it's most the people of the south?
No, definitely not. It's a nationwide sport, not to be practiced,
Yes, sure.
obviously, but to be watched. Of course, if Kamil Stoch had a walk on the seaside, he would be recognized in 1 second.
The beginning of last season, we had like a light that if you say Polish name in France, most of people say the finish with ski, like
Yes,
your name, and none of the people in the World Cup team finish with ski. So I asked on Twitter, but some of you, some Polish people gave me an explanation. Do you have the explanation? I want you to say, or I can say if you want.
No, actually, I don't have it, because in Iceland there is son and dottir, for example, but in Poland you have more types of names than only ski.
But the football national team, like 11 players, you have 7 or 8 with ski in the name. And in ski jumping, these people told me that because ski jumper are from the south of the country, where there is less name with ski at the end.
You know, we were not a country for 123 years in 19th century. So southern part was taken by Austrian and Hungarians in this period. So maybe that's why they were naming themselves in different way. But for instance, I can remind the jumper David Kowal, which means David Smith. It's a type of work. He was a smith, so he has a name like that. You know, it's really hard to explain exactly how it come. But for instance, Stoch, the family name Stoch is really common in the village. Only in village that Kamil is living in Ząb, and even the whole district of this village is called Stochy, because hundreds of them are living there. Why? I don't know.
So, but the most important is that the whole country is fan of ski jumping. And do you say that ski jumpers are the number one sportsman or woman in Poland?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, because ski jumping can never be fighting or trying to battle with football, which is more open to the people. where you have I don't know, world championships that is watched by billions of people in the world. Also, the volleyball is really popular in Poland, but we have really a strong league in the country. But people are used to watch the national team more than the club's successes. What else? In the last decade, we had a brilliant handball team with winning the medals in the World Champs. It's really hard to say which discipline in Poland is the most popular one. Of course, it is football, as everywhere in the world. But on the other hand, you are now watching the Roland Garros, where Iga Świątek is playing once again in the final, and she is number one in the world right now. Maybe a bit more sad fact about sports in Poland is that in general, people in Poland are not fans of sport, but more they are fans of successes. And if you had a success, people follow you. But if you're not, people probably don't even know that there is a national team in something in Poland. And it's a bit sad because I cover athletics as a second part of the year. For me, I was a pole vaulter in the previous year, so I follow it, and we have dozens of medalists of some sports, some specific disciplines, included in athletics, and even the golden medalists from Tokyo from the last champs in Oregon, and people are not attending the stadium to watch it. On the other hand, people used to watch mixed martial arts, but not for the professionals, but for the fame people are fighting against each other. I mean, YouTuber versus YouTuber, which is crazy for me. Honestly, this is crazy.
And in France, in relation with the success, we have biathlon, which is in the last 15 or 10 years become one of the main winter sport in France.
Everybody knows Martin Fourcade.
And that's why Martin Fourcade is our Adam Małysz. So it was a nice sport and quite popular, average. And then Martin Fourcade, Olympic medals, World Championship, and so on. And today, if you go to Paris or to Brittany, in the west coast of France, people watch, so like 1 million people each weekend watch biathlon. It's the only winter sport which is going outside the mountain part of France, you know. And if the French team is decreasing, the audience are decreasing as well. It's like success is nice, but if you have poor results, okay, we are not a really mountain country in terms of sports, even if we have a lot of mountain in France. And I can compare what you say with biathlon for France.
With this experience that we had with, for instance, Kamil Stoch walking on the seaside and being discovered that it is this person, right?
And let's talk about the atmosphere during the World Cup competition at the Hills. You forget about journalism for 2 minutes and go in the fan side. Did you attend the Zakopane World Cup before being journalist?
No, I didn't. But I had a different story.
Tell me.
In 2002, there was a World Championships in ski flying in Harachów,
Yes.
which is situated 5 kilometers away from the Polish-Czech border. And the competition started at 13:45. I remember 1 p.m. 45. This was the scheduled time for the start. And me and my dad woke up at 5 a.m. to get into the queue to the traffic jam to the border and to wait to wait inside the car for the competition. You know, driving very, very slowly to the border. This was the moment I realized that ski jumping is getting crazy huge.
Wow.
As a crazy huge sport in Poland. For the first time in Zakopane, I was in 2014 or maybe 2015. It's a bit sad to me because I didn't have a chance to see Adam Małysz winning there. But on the other hand, maybe I am even more lucky to experience it now as a quite fresh thing for me. I don't know, but very good that you have mentioned that forget about being a journalist, because working there during this World Cup this is a disaster. There are so many people from so many companies, even like the gardening. There is a funny story about Adam Małysz, who was winning 20 years ago, and he won in Zakopane, and one of the journalists asked him, "Okay, what type of ground are you using for your plants in your garden?" Instead of how, there are so many questions to ask about ski jumping that
Crazy. And so, what do you do, or what do the people eat and drink when they are in the hill? Because I ask you that because I'm often going to Germany for ski jumping. So for me, it's Wurst und Bier. And if I go to Zakopane, what I take with me to enjoy between the first and the second round?
Probably you can find easily some type of Wurst as well, but there are so many burgers, just typical street food on the hill. We have Belgium French fries, really popular, for instance. Langosz from Hungary is really common also in the Polish stadiums, no matter which discipline is it. Hot dogs as well, but in general, people are not eating during the competition. They are eating after or before. And there are some in Zakopane, there are so many restaurants where you can find some typical Polish food from Podhale region in Tatra Mountains. But during the competition, it's not a secret that people are trying to drink something stronger than a beer, which is usually some liquor, house-made, or even vodka mixed with some soda water and so on and so on. But as a country, we are a bit crazy, but same way I love it and hate it. We are not neutral for the people.
It's a good time. You spend a good time at the hill. It's not an opera, so you enjoy, and it's normal. And I have the same discussion with Louis. I told him the German people, which are quite strict in the life, they go in the life, they go at the hill and they just sing, dance, enjoy,
Yeah,
chill.
going wild. The same story in Poland. People are completely drunk. More people than drunk than sober on the hill. I'm pretty sure of it, and they're having fun. Villingen is a really good comparison to Zakopane in my eyes. Of course, the traditional way of having fun on the stadium is a bit different in Germany than in Poland, but the rules are quite the same. The music being loud, having fun, drink something less
For me,
or more.
for me, it's not negative to enjoy and to have to not only ski jumping religiously, watching the jump. We are going on site for this, but the experience is not only watching people jumping. And Poland is known as well as you have Polish people, Polish workers all around the world and Europe. So Lake Placid was a Polish World Cup last year. And in Germany or in Norway, there is a lot of Polish people which are going to see the World Cups. And thanks to you, sometimes it will be empty without the Polish fans. In Lillehammer, in Oslo, or in Lake Placid, sometimes in places like this, without the Polish fan. I was in Titisee Neustadt, probably half of the fans were with Polish flags.
You know, it's changing during this period because during this last 25 years, let's say, in the beginning, people are usually traveling and following Adam. This was a huge group following Adam week by week. But later, also the people who are living there are attending to the competition. The Polonia in Europe, also in the United States, is huge. In Chicago, there is probably a million of Poles living right now, or in the suburbs of Chicago. Also in Germany, there are so many Polish people living, working. In Norway, the same story. It's a immigration for a better life, probably.
For work, yes.
Yes, and for higher salaries and so on. And the people are living there, and they are missing their country. So the chance to wear your white and red colors, to see your idol from your country that is visiting actually your new country somehow, it's really nice for them, and that's why people are attending this competition more and more. In my eyes, in United States, I was observing the group of the fans of the Polonia in New York, that they are booking the buses to go to Lake Placid and to cheer for Polish team that they probably have seen for the first time ever. Living for 20 years in States. So this is important for them, and that's why they are so loud, so happy having this in the neighborhood.
And they are, yes, you confirm my impression that they are working hard. Most of the time, it's mainly men. So you can imagine they just go in the country like Norway or Germany to work hard, and then go back to the family. And it's a nice moment for them to be all Polish, or most of the Polish people together, and say, okay, we are here we have a hard life, but we are here to spend some good moments in our new country.
Definitely. This is important. No matter which discipline is it. Probably if the famous musician from Poland is going to States, they are full house listening to his music. I can totally agree and understand this.
And my last question about the atmosphere is, why vuvuzelas? It's just why I like to watch Zakopane, for example. It's beautiful lights, the people cheering, the flags. Sometimes the flags are 10 meters long. I don't know how people can hold these flags. But why vuvuzelas? It's
so annoying. This same for me. But on the other hand, I prefer vuvuzelas than these stupid, half funny songs in on the German hills. I know Louis is loving them, but I hate them. They are so lazy while spectating. In Poland, it's wild on the stands. It's completely wild. Why do people invented this into the stadiums in Poland? I don't really know, but I can remind myself a football World Cup in South Africa 2010, where vuvuzelas were the first gadget used on the stadiums as well. It's annoying. To me the same, but maybe without them it wouldn't be that nice. I don't know. I try to be far away of judging this.
Yeah, for sure. But the sound is not the nicest one. And
It is.
and this season in Planica, the vuvuzelas arrived. Sorry, and I was in Planica some years ago, and I didn't have this souvenir of this sound. It was noisy, but was not vuvuzela.
There is one worse thing in on the stadiums in Poland, which is writing on the national flag. I really hate this. For instance, in Slovenia, flags are clean, and in Poland, people write so many stupid things on it, and names of the towns just to be seen in the television or something like that. This is what I really hate, but any other aspects of being a spectator in Poland is super nice. It's special. It's a purpose that most of all athletes are loving Zakopane, loving spending time here and coming back.
Yes, and I can understand why. And from the French fan point of view, we want to travel at least once in Poland for ski jumping.
Let me know. Let me know where you're planning to do so.
Let's go to the, let's say, national team and high-level ski jumping in Poland.
Et c'est le moment de faire une pause. On fait une petite pause, une petite coupure. L'entretien avec Michal a été très long et très riche et on va parler du saut à ski de haut niveau, hommes, femmes, du combiné nordique, des instances, des relations avec la fédération, des nouvelles règles et tout ça. Dans une deuxième partie de l'entretien, on va faire un nouvel épisode du podcast. Donc merci d'avoir écouté cette première partie et puis on se retrouve très vite pour la deuxième partie. À bientôt.